Get them in your head first.
What permanent
like the name of Rob's studio, for example.
Hello, good evening, welcome. I am here with James Carey and we are doing episode 20... that was one of the facts I probably should have got in my mind, wasn't it? Episode 29.
It's in the 20s.
29 actually. So one away from 30, which is fun. And we're just doing a listen through of plans for the weekend and what we're going to do this. So there's a project and process one and we'll go there.
1, 2, 3.
Right, that's the title. Did you see my pause?
Roll camera. Yeah, that's nice.
Anyway, so if we start with Vacate, in the last video I did, the key point to my mind about this weekend is really actually your point of view on everything that's on here, because you've heard versions that I've sent you, but then I've been fucking around with this shit for months. So I've made lots of changes, and I think Vacate's probably where you last heard it, but you may not have heard it in this scenario since.
Yeah.
But everything else, there's been edits, there's been changes, there's been new things written, there's been all kinds of parts added. And also there's been an element of mixing all the way through.
Right. So these are mixed to a certain extent?
To a certain extent they're mixed, in the sense that I've got to the point where I feel like there's very little more I can add. So then I've gone in to mix it to see what it feels like in my ears. Right?
Yeah.
But the worst, there's
some panning going on there as well.
There's some panning going on there. Vacate's possibly one that we don't need to touch. This might be ready to go to mastering. But really, it's about you popping my fucking feedback loop, essentially, and just being totally honest about the mix and any of the instrumentation, and then any of the writing that's gone into it. And then also there's an element of us identifying what work collectively we think needs done to each track.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll take notes as we go through. So we'll start with Vacate.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't come through page.
Warm bed, red shoes.
Excuse me.
The choice in front of you. Undress, distress.
Got some delay on
I'm
vocal.
sorry I've startled you.
Yeah.
Been near or steer. There's something you should hear. I clear my throat.
I think I've got
Try
that's
to speak with one.
a separate fuzz, so a bus from the bass to a fuzz track that you're hearing in that
Dodge
speaker.
bullets for me and mine.
So it's staring at that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not hearing my country's call.
Turn that speaker up.
Hearts beating beyond it all. The sea that surrounds us will abandon us.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Just off the top of my head, there's a hi-hat which starts in the second verse, I think, which seemed quite high against the mix of the drums generally.
Okay.
There's just the drums into the second chorus. It sort of goes around the houses of the kit and then slows down. I think there's maybe possibly just a bass drum time. I think for me it's just that it comes in.
So do you want me to play just that section?
Slightly early. It's a strange fill to throw in, I think.
It's true.
What's that?
Hold it. Okay.
Chasing you.
That's the hi-hat.
That's the hi-hat. Yeah. Okay, that's
It's true.
I mean, that is kind of the other thing though to say that's fair. Like, I haven't done. So all of these have got the producer kits.
Right. Okay. So
But I have. There's only a few of them where I've gone in and actually got into the. So that might be something else that we do this weekend. Is we work out a drum sound that we like, because then we can apply the template, right? In different songs we can have. Do you know what I mean? That how we like the how we like the kick mixed. I mean the kick mic'd, or because we can do all the emulations.
Yeah.
And get a drum room sound we like and that kind of thing. And then that'll be a set thing that we can just apply really quick template to.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we keep listening?
Is that true? So if you get a drum sound you like,
you can save every element of it.
You can save all of that
as a preset.
Okay, cool. That's handy.
Yeah, very handy.
Yeah. Cool.
Heart's beyond it all.
Yeah.
Straight into the fire. Dodge bullets for me and mine. But I'm not hearing my conscience call.
First one of those.
This one.
Yeah, right at the end of that fill, right? It goes in and then it does 4 sort of long, lazy hi-hats, right? So you got a tss, 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 tss.
Right, yeah,
Boom.
that's this bit, isn't it?
And yeah. Is it that one? Yeah. So that's the bit that I've done. It's the section immediately before that, so it'll be sort of 34 to 36, I think. Boom.
So you want
the
the first hit of the open hi-hat should have a bass drum
underneath it, I think, yeah, because it just sounds a little bit weak, I think, just to have the...
Okay, just go straight to the... Yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
So do you want to do another listen through that I don't talk through? Or have we got plenty of time to listen to this for the rest of the weekend?
We've got loads of time, yeah. But to me, that sounds... It sounds finished. All I would say, which I'd say to every vocal I've ever recorded, is I think I could do that better. But you know, life has proven that I probably can't. But I do feel, it's like a trio of sirens turn me onto the rocks.
Products. Vacate.
It's the same again.
Vacate.
But it's proper
It's nice,
3-part.
you can hear the threes, yeah.
And again, it's one of those things, like I haven't put that much effort into any of the other vocals, like backing vocals we've done, but I did spend some time on this, and I can work it out just with my voice, like over time. It doesn't take very long for me to hit it. But I think that, I honestly think that is only though because you said to me the other day about practicing the vocals, which I took to heart and I've done on breath and stuff, and you'll hear. But it's true, I think, with harmonies. I grew up singing in a choir.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, that's the only reason. It's not that you don't have the ear for it, it's just you're not practiced at doing it.
Just a muscle thing, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Right, so what do you want to listen to next? Have you still got the list?
It's on the table. So whatever's up next, really.
Well, you can... Why don't you choose from the recently opened?
Okay, let's go with Decreedance, please. So just before, how do you feel about this one? Just
in my mind, so this was the one that I was. This is the one that I was originally setting up to center Rick Beato, and so I got it to a point where I think you sent me the vocal like the day before, and we missed the deadline by like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that's where I am with this. As far as I'm concerned, I've done everything I can with it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the mix, and I'm happy with the instrumentation.
Yeah.
So
You have something to say, I'd love to hold you to it. My love, you I know that you can do it. Just come to forefront and get it done.
I haven't heard that bridge section.
no.
Sort of 36 to 41, I think.
Yeah.
Was on there.
So that was the original. That is the original bit. Like I'm trying to, in the first part of that, I'm trying to recreate your vocals from when we did it at Langley Wood.
Right.
It's the same thing, just extended.
Yeah.
So there's now 3 bars of it.
Oh, yeah, okay, right, I remember.
So
yeah.
the extra bit that's so
I
it's
was just doing woos and wows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the big difference that I noticed in it is either that's like a really emotive vocal you've
Right.
got down there, which is good.
Yeah.
You can really hear the oomph in it.
Yep.
The drums are almost part of the melody rather than the rhythm in a way. You can't sort of tap your foot to it, but it's nice. I mean, they are just. Yet they're not providing a solid beat all the way.
So maybe if it's
I like this though.
oh geez, okay.
Shannon Hoon, isn't it?
You kind of
One melody, breakdown kind of sound.
Yeah. You kind of now. So, but the I agree with you. That middle section. Not only am I not even sure if I would never take that take. I'm also not 100% sure of the way the lyrics hit. I think
it
it
sounds
is
a bit like that. Yes, it's a bit sort of jamming sound to it, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I think it should open on a consonant rather than a vowel, like kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of shit that we need to fuck around with.
Okay. Yeah, but it is. It's an art piece, isn't it? It's got that feel to it. So.
Well, that's lovely of you to say something like that. But yeah, I like it. It is kind of, I like that abstract feel.
Yeah. Yeah. It would drive you mad live if a drummer was playing like that behind you, because you're there trying to, and he's going guh, guh dum dum dum, dum 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 guh. Fucking. Yeah. But it works to listen to like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you though, I'm not opposed. Like, I'm not precious. The drums, as long as they've got character and they've got feel, and they provide that.
It would change what.
But my point being, I'm not opposed to change.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, if there's, because there's a lot of elements in there that are driving that feeling of abstraction, and I know that the drums is obviously a very fucking big part of that.
It is.
But you could keep one element of it, and then add other stuff in, right? And like, we can layer up on top of what's already there, take bits of it in and out. Like, all of that is possible and very easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, and really, again, like.
Yeah, you could put a second drum track next to it, almost like an electronica kind of thing. You know, all Radiohead, OK Computer kind of.
And then
some whistles kind of thing, and it would fit.
Yeah, and it periods. Then the live kit could but you know what I mean. Could come in and out.
Yeah.
Like, and that would just only add more dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay, so potentially.
Stodge clipper lighter, no pencil. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
You've been sharing this.
Neve.
Oh.
But probably yes. What else did you just say to me?
I think just the track itself is just kind of quite ethereal.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So
I'm totally in agreement. Touch of vocal reverb or chorus or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of modulation.
Yeah, I would have said reverb, but whatevs.
I put in touch of vocal reverb, just so you know.
Okay, cool. You have specified.
Reverb, yes.
James specified.
Reverb. Was there 0.4 on this, or are we done?
What have you got?
Potentially backward vocal in the bridge. There's a lot of, and just let's put it in there as well. Just work on bridge in general.
Redo the bridge as a vocal on the bridge. Yeah.
Potentially work on the drum parts and additions too.
Yeah.
Touch of vocal reverb and vocal on the bridge.
Yeah.
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 Anything else? No.
That's it.
Have you made a decision on what you'd like to hear next?
Yes.
Go on
then. Breath, please. It's not on that list, though, is it?
That's fine.
Yeah.
I have no idea why every time I save a vocal part in here, it has to analyse the transients. I don't know what I've done to put that setting in place, but it does it with this one and this one only.
Right.
All the time.
Okay.
So, might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, I have no idea.
It's a good song title, Analyse the Transients.
Yeah. like happy to use that, obviously. Right, I'm gonna go get a beer and hopefully that'll put me out of your way.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. That's the best vocal I've ever heard you put down. That's done. Yeah.
Okay.
That's really nice.
Okay.
I love that the little harmony bit you do at the beginning. It's kind of like ooh, 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 warmth and in. That's lovely.
So I literally just was fucking around with that the other day, and my feelings on that is that that should be happening more throughout, at places in places or something along.
Yeah.
Or some instrumentation that does that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like especially on the bridge.
Yeah, I it's lovely. That first section is fine. There's a cymbal that pissed me off a bit. About 17. It's just a cymbal on its own. It's one of those psh that I would take out. But
what are the drums on this? I think this is just. Okay. The drums we definitely need to talk about.
Yeah.
So cymbal on 17.
It's around about 17. There's just a splash. I think it's me. I've got a real thing about playing cymbals without a bass drum underneath them.
Right. Okay. Well, James, in all things drums, I will always be taking your advice, not mine. Okay. So, you can say whatever the fuck you like, frankly, and I'll go along with it. So you tell me it needs a bass drum, I'll put a bass drum in.
Alright, or take the cymbal out, I'm not sure. Yeah,
either one.
Yeah, it's really nice. That first, but I think the only issue I've got is where it stops, and you've got the really nice guitar that comes in, the jing 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 ding ding into that section. I do think there's got to be some drums.
Right.
On that,
okay.
That's got to be boom boom, and I think from then on for that section,
so
all the way up to 36, I think. Where
yeah.
It is that comes back.
So it's interesting you say that.
Solid beat behind it.
It's interesting you say that because I sent you that drum part a month ago, and you said you were going to work on it.
Right.
So I agree with you 100%.
So here I am now saying
to work on
I
it.
should work on it.
Yeah, perfect. No, absolutely. So the drums, as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with for the majority of it. But that is literally again just hitting something out on the keyboard, and just getting it.
Yeah.
And actually, they're not that different than the main drums, really. If, the beats themselves, they're slightly different feel, maybe, but
yeah.
But no, I agree with you 100%.
Nothing complicated. I think just a straightforward.
However, the one thing I would say though, since recording that vocal of it or working out that version of the vocal, I have felt to a certain extent that the bridge should actually, because I need to bring it in my mind. I need to bring the rest of the mix up to fit with that vocal, because the vocal actually sits quite out of the mix.
So that was the other thing I was going to say, was just bring it down a touch.
Okay, so I don't think I think what I should be trying to do is actually bring the mix up, because the vocal, all of this mix is built around a guide vocal where I'm tiptoeing along, just doing the melody, right? So it doesn't have a lot of aggression. Well, it does, but it's kind of, it's all built around that, and it's all quiet, and because the vocal was quiet. So I think actually I should try and bring the mix up to the level of the vocal to a certain extent to match its aggression in some ways.
Well, you mean play it differently?
No.
Volume-wise?
Just the mix.
Oh, okay.
So just try and bring each element.
The mastering should take care of that. I guess we'll see when we master this one.
But, well, the other thing about...
pull everything out to that waveform, shouldn't it? So therefore, as long as they're relatively... as long as the volumes are right relative to each other, it should push them all so that overall the track is loud enough, as loud as you want it to be. So,
well, I have been I've been watching some interviews with a guy called Andrew Sheps. Have you ever heard of Andrew Sheps?
No.
He's a legendary mixer.
Schweppes is a legendary mixer as well. That's weird, isn't it?
Hey, my friend.
Okay,
So in my mind, yes, I need to bring the mix up.
Yeah.
And piano?
That's lovely.
No
it's
change?
Really nice. It's really nice. Those little, it's the mix of it, but you can hear all that stuff going on. You know, even when there's a little low bass note on its own.
Because there's all on the telly.
Yeah, there's nothing I need or want to add to that. I don't think.
So the drums in the bridge.
Other than
you're going to do the drums in the bridge.
I'll have a go at doing those. Yeah.
Drums in the bridge.
And I like the way it comes back in again after that break because it stops, doesn't it? And then the music carries on without drums for like half a bar. It's back
So I take a swift breath.
Yeah.
It's nice. I like that because initially you're like, oh, where's the drums? And then they boom back in.
It's that kind of Stone Rosy kind of.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Breath. Smile.
Yeah. It's still the vocal that I did last.
I think so.
In here, just before I went.
And I don't know.
Lovely. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I love that song.
I think you got that vocal sounding really nice.
Your vocal.
My vocal. Yeah, you've some nice reverb on there.
Yeah. Now, I agree with you. I really like it. I think because you can also you can automate the level of the effect as well as the level of volume.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there needs to be some of that done in places to kind of bring the reverb effect. I think I can't remember what I put on there actually. So it's got that RVox on there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then that's bust out to bus 9, which is running a reverb. So this is totally. Oh, and I already have done some of the automation. So this is the reverb track basically. So I've panned this all the way to the right. So the
reverb is just on the
right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool.
So I've got the vocal signal here going through a compressor and just a preamp.
Okay.
And then on here I've got another preamp, and then also, which we can decide might be absolutely unnecessary, the other preamp. But it's basically like a reverb room running separately and alongside it, right? So it's taking the dry signal because it's pre-fader, taking the dry signal and just pushing that through a reverb room. And so that's totally, we can do whatever the fuck we want with that. We can move it around, we can pan it back and forth during the...
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I always... reverb is quite forgiving, isn't it, when you put it on a vocal?
Yes.
So the temptation is to drown it in it, and I think that's at the top end of how much reverb you can have before it starts sounding like you're singing in a fucking empty church,
Yeah.
What I was going to say was your backing vocals. They're lovely. I love the harmonies. They need EQing a little bit so they fit with that vocal, because I don't think there's much reverb on yours.
Nothing.
So
pretty much nothing. So we could run them through the same reverb room,
right,
same bus, and have the same effect on both.
Or
we can run them through a separate one, because the other thing is you might want to do that as well, because in the there's that bit like that really quiet bit just before the last chorus,
where
the vocal just comes in. Like you could then pan, because there's little bits where we're both singing. You could pan the reverb effect back and forth across that little bit, like that, and then so if you had them in two separate rooms, you could do that with it.
Swirling and exchanging.
So I mean, and that's the other thing. Like we just listened to Breath. There's nothing like the kind of production, because when you send me an idea, I have so little work to do. Right, so I can spend all my time playing around with this kind of freaky shit, of the production side of things. Whereas when I'm producing it myself, I sort of get the instrumentation done, and then I'm like, oh, I'm done. I've done so much work on this, like I must be done. So it's a different kind of. But anyway.
Okay.
So I put also additional vocals. So some of the vocal parts in the harmonies.
Yeah.
You had said the last time, why don't we layer some voices up on there?
Okay. Yeah.
So some of the, not all of them, but some of the vocal parts. And the harmony parts, I was going to say as well, that's, I think I think I've said this to you before, I think that's everything that could be done, but I'm not saying necessarily that all of that should be done.
Okay.
In terms of harmonies, but...
I think they all fit. There's one line on that breakdown section at the end, right at the end, where it goes, it's each other we hate.
Yes.
At the end. I think the harmony on that is
it's off.
Slightly
You're right. You're absolutely right. And yeah, that does need some work.
But the others are right in there. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's too much. I think they all work.
Okay.
So as a final mix, I think that's pretty close, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
Definitely EQ your vocals, and maybe redo that line. The guitar's lovely. I like the way that creeps in. The electric comes in second verse.
Yeah, little bits, and then
it could, that again. I think you could push the volume of that a little bit, but it's lovely.
Okay. So the other thing I should say as well is, because all of these are still kind of a work in progress, I haven't put them through any sort of effects on the master track like that AG mastering thing.
Right.
Because I can't do any performance at that point, because that uses up so much memory that everything glitches. So now whether I don't know whether you do that. Would you do that before you sent it to a...
No.
So we should leave, these are the raw mixes.
Yeah.
Right, fine.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So what's else on the list? We've done Breath, Smile, Vacate, Decreedance. So Weezils and Left of Me.
Okay.
Which one do you want to hear first?
Left of Me.
So this is probably the one that's been the most untouched recently.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really done anything with this in ages. I listened back through the mix last week. And it still has no vocals over the end section at all. I've tried playing some piano. There's an electric guitar part which you're more than welcome to listen to. At the moment there's a... Well, you'll hear. Anyway. Okay, yeah, I like that. I really like that. Vocal signals. Should I put vocal signals the hook in the... Vocal signals the hook early in...
references the hook earlier in the solo somewhere. Well, you could cheekily put one in right at the beginning of the song if it fitted in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just once, like quietly.
Yeah, well, I'll put that for now, and then we can decide.
Yeah. But
I like that. I really like that.
It sounds lovely though. Mix-wise, again, it's...
And the vocal on the first half. See, I think we should record it with your vocal, doing the normal, like us doing our normal harmonies. And that brings me to another question that we should probably tackle at some point about what we're thinking in terms of release. Sort of releasing stuff and how we're going to do it.
Yeah. Right, if anyone out there owns a Mini Countryman, then this is going to freak you out, because this is exactly the noise that your indicator makes. I spent a lot of time practicing that. Anyway, thank you.
So we've got one left.
Weezils.
Weezils.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Right, ready?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and sorry, the first I apologise because I left in these bits where I've been noodling on the telly in the first half. The intention was to play it with just your original guitar parts in, not to have that in.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to listen back to it because I think it diluted it quite badly in the middle bit, but up to you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I mean, out of all of these, this has the most stuff that needs doing to it, just because it's part finished as well, isn't it? In terms of
So we've got it. Yeah.
It's not a whole song there.
No, and you know I'm pretty much everything. It's rare that I loop stuff that much, if I'm honest. I tend to try and do performances all the way through and then just take takes from it. So I think I would be of that mind to try and do the same thing with any bits like bass parts or things that we want to change.
Okay.
With the bass, though, saying that bass line can just be looped easily. Saying that, but if there's any guitar stuff, actually I'm not playing guitar, am I, except the solo, so I don't have to do anything. Yeah, you've got a lot of work to do, James.
It's an odd one. Yeah, it's an odd song. I feel like it's the strangest thing I've written, really.
Do you
It's
think?
the only thing I've written that's been on the piano, so I think that's why, because it's sort of written around the horns.
Right.
It's well, no, that's not true. No, I'd written.
No, you wrote the guitar part
I
first.
sang the song, and then I went.
But it was the first one, I think, where you said you'd sat in front of the first thing you did was the keyboards.
Yeah.
That's the
keyboards
difference,
first.
I think.
Yeah.
Although saying that, you did like the piano bits on Vacate
Yeah.
are chunky.
There's lots of tracks. Yeah. Each one's doing duh. But together.
Well, together. Of course they're doing them together,
It's a
James.
distraction,
I suppose when you're sitting there. Are you working on anything else at the moment?
Not really. No. Oh, I didn't. I was going to buy my fucking. I bought an old cassette recorder.
Okay.
A little like a Walkman thing.
Okay.
That plugs USB straight into my Mac. And
Okay.
I've got loads of old cassettes. One of which is like 1995. It just says Kev, Rob, and me pissed, and it's recorded in my bedsit in Banbury. I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, really?
I haven't wanted because I just know I'm going to sound like a dick and I'm going to be like,
Same.
turn it off.
Same.
But I was meaning to bring that up so we could sit and listen to that.
From when? 1996?
Well, it's when I lived in that bedsit in
Before.
where you lived.
Before,
as well,
yeah, where
Sarah
a
lived
man with
upstairs.
hair.
Yeah. So I'm thinking 95. It could be nice. Listen to some Skeedle more. Still got their album on cassette.
Skeedlemore.
Foz and
Oh,
Ryan
yeah.
and that girl Lisa
Yeah.
playing bass. It's quite good actually.
Yeah. Foz probably still was good.
I've been messaging him
Oh, really?
on Facebook recently. Yeah, he doesn't play.
Oh, no?
No, he fishes a lot. But no, he sent back a recommendation for a band which he listened to. So he listens to a lot of music, but
doesn't play anymore.
no. He's a good guitarist.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This question started about what am I working on. So yeah, listening to loads of old stuff because there's mini discs as well.
Yeah.
And basically trying to find old songs that I never had the opportunity to do this stuff with.
Yeah.
That I think would
Warrant it.
Yeah, may have become better through the recording process.
Yeah.
So there's a few of those.
Are you the type of person that remembers how to play them? Or would you have to learn them again?
I remember the chords. If I've played any kind of lead, I'd never remember that. Never.
Right.
But chords generally, sort of roughly.
And can you pick out chords to play alongside with?
No.
No. No, I can't either. I wish I could.
Yeah. No. Not really.
No.
It's trial and error. Everything's trial and error.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that would be interesting though, to pull those back out.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a few in there, sort of rockier ones. It's funny that I'd always imagine the stuff that you recorded of your songs would be a lot rockier than the stuff you've ended up choosing to record.
Do you know, it's the same. It's much the same for me, like in real time as well, because I thought Sleepy House was going to be a rockier band, but it just turned into what it was, and it's been the same thing with this. I said to you the other week or whatever, like I fear that I'm turning into the Counting Crows. So like I hated the Counting Crows. I really hated the Counting Crows.
Love the Counting Crows.
Fucking
They're amazing.
Oh, drove me mad. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it's because when we talk about music, or have talked about it over the years, we always talk about big guitar parts and big songs, don't we? And
yeah.
It's funny that. Yeah.
But both of us, like you more so than me to Blind Melon, and maybe me more so than you to Radiohead, we both end up going in that actually the more complex, and then right in the middle there, Gomez. Actually, the more complex stuff that's got loads of fucking harmony and stuff going on.
Yeah,
that's where we end up back
weird,
to.
man.
I mean, the reason I love I wouldn't say that I'm an ardent Nirvana fan. Like, I appreciate Nirvana and I have a huge amount of respect for them, and for Kurt Cobain specifically, and I think he was musically extremely complex, and like people do not understand quite how good what he is doing is. Like, it's remarkable what he managed to sonically get out of that 3-piece. So I have no it's not that I don't appreciate that, but I would gravitate to Pearl Jam. Like, if you were to ask me, what are you going to put on in the car? Probably 10, rather than Nevermind. But you know, and actually, rather than both of them, fucking Blind Melon.
Yeah, Blind Melon still sounds amazing these days. It's timeless, isn't it?
It's fucking. I mean, it's up there with. I would say it's up there with like anyone. Like, you're right. It doesn't get old. It's still.
It's lovely like that. They didn't fit at the time. I mean, even at the time that they were.
But
against the grain of hard rock music. Okay.
The fucking schedule, yeah. This is how far you got with the fucking schedule.
There was one more.
I'll tell you what. Hey.
No, I'm doing it.
Hey, look. Use the most expensive pen in the house, and write it right.
Okay. Vocals, and then you said the next thing we should work on is Weezils, maybe structure-wise.
So I thought, my thinking was we start with Weezils, and we start in the morning with coffee, and we loop everything.
Okay.
Yep. Get it all in place so that you can then just do a vocal through. And we can just sit here at the fucking desk and just get it all set up, ready to go. And everything is then set with the board already. So that's then literally, as soon as we've got everything looped and everything in here, then you can do a vocal straight away.
Okay.
And then we should build out the rest of the song. Then do your guitar performances immediately after that. So, I mean, I don't think we need to get to the point, because essentially we can stay up as late as we want to stay up. So we shouldn't put a start time. This is just what we're going to be doing first.
Yeah. We're going to be sitting there hungover going, do you think we could possibly push the Yeah, no, I agree. That
Yeah.
if we both agree, then
7:30
that's
was a
fine.
ludicrous times.
We'll have to cross out all the times and move them on half an hour down the page.
Yeah, we just work through everything. We start when we start.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you put Telecasters, but weren't you planning on playing 2 different guitars?
Oh yeah.
Just replace Telecasters, I suppose it is, isn't it? And then, so what have I got in here?
Yeah, so that's Weezils basically then, isn't it?
That's Weezils basically, and then probably at that point we should step away from it, even if we want to then add. I think I've got a couple of notes here about us adding more stuff to it, which is dynamics. Maybe we should do a round after we've done a rehearsal and a test on Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
The next part is like, what do we need to add dynamic wise to any of these? Well, we'll see. Anyway, that might be planning. Let's leave Sunday unplanned. You're right, I think. Shall we? Other than the testing of the software shit.
Okay, but yeah, in terms of what we work on, then song-wise, it's up to us, isn't it? I suppose. At the time.
Yep. Yeah, we can choose. Well, what else is what else has got the most work? So we should probably then Vacate should be next, because that's another lead vocal to record.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
that's the one. The last one of yours that we listened to. The last one on the list you've just done.
Left of Me.
Yeah, that's right. Because possibly vocals, vocal repeating line and that.
Oh yeah. You're doing a harmony vocal in that as well, aren't you?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
So, that one
So Left of Me next. And then probably Decreedance, because that's the other one where we've got potentially some work to do.
Mm-hmm. Vocal wise.
Well, potentially backward vocal in the bridge, potentially work on the drum parts and additions to, touch of vocal on the reverb, vocal on bridge, more urethral. So that's the one where I've got the most notes. That's what I'm going by. They may not make any sense, but I've got the most notes on that one.
I'm going to put plus other notes. Reference that.
Yeah, fine. Yeah,
Draw an
I'm
arrow.
happy with that. And then Smile. And that's it. Is that 6? Is that 5?
5.
Breath. So what's on the notes for breath? Oh, we need to record the. Cymbal splash around 17.
Oh yeah.
Drums in bridge. It's drums in bridge. Is probably the biggest bit of that, and then vocal. So I've got a couple of vocal parts that I need to re-record, which is breath, Decreedance, and some harmony bits and pieces, but we can just feed those in as we go along, can't we? Alright?
Yeah. What's that word?
Drums.
Drums in bridge.
Drums in bridge.
Okay. We've done some detailed note taking.
We have. Should we stop recording?